Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on News on the Hour from New Frontiers Television. My name is Olajumoke Babalola. On the News on the Hour, Afenifere warns against kidnap in Ogun, Lagos coastlines. Lawyers clash over Akwa Ibom senatorial seat. Federal government tells landlords to reduce rent. Okorocha dissolves cabinet ahead of 2019 governorship elections. And on to the news. Baptist ministers have been charged to be examples to all believers in every manner of life. The rector of the Baptist College of Theology, Igede Ekiti, Reverend Dr. Olugbenga Olagunju, stated this in his welcome address at the 21st convocation ceremony of the college, which took place recently. The rector, who assumed office on January 1, 2017, appreciated God's faithfulness over the college. He further charged the graduates to comport themselves as godly ministers of the gospel in these contemporary times, while stating the expectation of the college to see them make progress in their walk with God, in their academic pursuits, and in ministry.
Hence, we want to see the value of your training in the way you administer the church, and comport yourselves as godly minister of the gospel in our contemporary times. I will not be surprised if in the nearest future we see some of you coming back to receive your bachelor degree in theology, education, music, and evangelism. We expect to see you progressing in the three core areas of our vision and mission for the God, which is 1, progressing in your spiritual walk with God, 2, progressing in your academic pursuits, and 3, progressing in your...
55 graduates were awarded certificates and diplomas, as well as prizes of academic excellence for exceptional performances. The president of the Nigerian Baptist Convention, who also is the president, Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Samson Olashupo Ayekle, who was represented by the Vice President, Finance and Investment, Reverend Dr. Moses Babatunde Adebayo, in his congratulatory message, prayed that the graduates will not fail in the new responsibilities, adding that they will not be abandoned by God, neither will God abandon them.
I pray for you that on this occasion, as we step out, you will indeed represent the Lord. You will not falter on the way. God Almighty, who has called you to this ministry, will not abandon you. And I pray also that you will not also abandon the ministry, and you will not bring the name of the Lord to disrepute in the name of Jesus Christ. I'd like to say that the convention as a body is playing its part towards the growth and development of this college.
Notable dignitaries at the ceremony were the Chairman Board of Governors of the college, Professor Niyi Okunlola, President of the Host Conference, Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Aribasoye, President of the Ondo Baptist Conference, Reverend John Ayo Oladapo, and President of the Niger KB Baptist Conference, Reverend Dr. Obed Tanko, including the Kogi Baptist Conference President, Reverend Dr. David Ola Daniel. Also in attendance were the Treasurer of the WMU, Mrs. Funke Olatunji, and pastor in charge of a new Baptist church, Warri Delta State, Reverend Dr. Odunayo Okene. Several of them shared their thoughts on this occasion.
Glory of God, I'll be graduating on diploma in theology this day. And I worship the name of the Lord for this calling. And I know that He will continue to uphold me. As I'll be going out, I pray that the Lord will make use of me in various ways, even to expand this kingdom.
Or to teach the nation about Christ Jesus. And I pray that God will help me in Jesus' name.
The Lord will help me even to do more as I'm going out in Jesus' name. And I want to bless God for the life of all our lecturers here.
I advise them not to see pastoral calling as a means of any salary, but to see it as a call, something worthwhile. Just as the scripture says, that seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and every other thing shall be added unto it.
While taking care of their flock, they should try to create time for their family. When they are in the church, they should make sure that after doing God's work, by the time they get home, they should be able to take care, find out what is really happening at home, find out about the welfare of the children, train the children.
Need to be spiritually fit for the ministry, and secondly, they need to study the ways of God, because it is not easy to do the pastoral work. This ministry that God has entrusted into our care requires God's.
The federal government has said it has begun teaching the rescued Chibok schoolgirls how to speak proper English language. This government has also employed 20 teachers to help the girls with remedial classes. The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Aisha Al-Azan, said this in Abuja while receiving the recently rescued 82 Chibok schoolgirls. After the rescue on May 6, 2017, the 82 girls were kept in a health facility under the supervision of the Department of State Services, where they underwent medical tests and treatment. While receiving the 82 girls at the National Center for Women Development, the minister said that 82 girls would be taught in English. Al-Hazan said the 24 girls who were released last year had improved on their spoken English. Governor Umaru Al-Makura of Nasarawa State has pleaded with the striking workers in the state to resume work in the interest of peace, blaming opposition parties for the ongoing industrial action. The governor also warned opposition politicians and others to stop inciting workers against his administration. The striking workers are demanding full payment of their salary arrears, promotion, and enhanced condition of service. The governor, who made the appeal in Lafayette at a meeting with some stakeholders to commemorate Democracy Day in Nigeria, however, claimed the strike over backlog of unpaid salaries were politically motivated. The governor said the meeting was meant to appreciate, recognize, and acknowledge the contributions of those who served and were still serving the state since he assumed office as governor. And on to the National Assembly, the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, has said that his relationship with President Muhammadu Buhari remained cordial despite false claims on some social media. He made this claim when the national executive of the Islamic group Jamaatul Izalatul Bidawah, led by its president Muhammad Jingiri, visited him at the National Assembly. The president of the Senate debunked allegations that he and the Senate are working against President Buhari. Saraki also reaffirmed the commitment of the Senate in ensuring good governance, accountability, economic stability, and creation of jobs for the teeming unemployed youth. He promised that all bills to be passed by the Senate would ensure that religious sentiments of Nigerians were taken into consideration. After 3 days of being incommunicado, abductors of the 6 pupils of the Lagos State Model College, Igbonla Ekpe, reestablished contact with some of the victims' parents. It was learned that the kidnappers had reduced the 1 billion naira ransom earlier demanded to 600 million and briefly allowed the parents to speak with the children to confirm their safety. Despite the parents' pleas that they were poor, the gunmen were said to have insisted on 100 million naira for each pupil. It had been reported that the gunmen stormed the school premises at about 6 a.m. on Thursday, 3 days after writing the school authorities, informing them about the attack. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Steve Ayoride, had said the security agencies are handling the situation as carefully as necessary. Afenifere, the Yoruba socio-political group, has expressed indignation over the incessant kidnap of school children along the Ogun and Lagos state coastlines. Rising from its monthly meeting held in Akure, the country home of its national leader, Pariben Fashoranti, the group asked security agencies to halt the ugly trend. In like manner, the group in a communique read to newsmen about the 5 hours meeting showed concern over the menace of Fulani herdsmen across the country. The communique was read by the state chairman of the group and former education commissioner, Honorable Korede Duyile. Afenifere deplored the indifference of the federal government on the matter. According to them, unless appropriate actions were taken on the menace, farmers and the people generally may have no choice than to defend themselves, and this should not be allowed to happen so as to ensure peace in the country. They therefore called on the states in Yoruba land to take definite action within their constitutional responsibilities to checkmate the rampaging herdsmen. The House of Representatives Committee on Public Procurement has cautioned the Finance Minister, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, that they will not be ambushed by the documents she submitted without reading. Consequently, the committee ordered her to reappear before it tomorrow to give details of the documents she had submitted. Adeosun honored the committee's invitation to explain the role of a ministry in the controversial pre-shipment inspection contract allegedly awarded by the previous administration and terminated by the current one. Chairman of the committee, Oluwole Oke, PDP representative in Osun, had accused the executive arm of ambushing members of the parliament with volumes of documents without adequate time to study and digest them and take informed decision. Responding, the minister stated that submitting required documents was not in any way intended as an ambush against the honorable committee. Adeosun had apologized to the lawmakers for their early confusion arising from conflicting engagements both within and outside Abuja, as at the time the initial invitation came to her. Still within the House of Representatives, the House has moved the process of making the review of the national minimum wage a periodic exercise of every 5 years. Consequently, the bill to amend the National Minimum Wage Act passed through the second reading. Leading the debate on the general principles of the bill during plenary, House Majority Leader Femi Gbajabiamila, APC representative from Lagos, said the bill sought to provide for periodic review of the national minimum wage every 5 years. Gbajabiamila will blame the continuous clamor for increased minimum wage by workers across the country and inflation, described salary as a major component of workers' welfare, adding that there was the need for a law to compel the federal government to effect a review. He stated that the minimum wage shall be subject to periodic review every 5 years, and the first review shall be effective from January 1st, 2017, irrespective of the date the bill came into force. Supporting the amendment and its contribution to the debate, Rotimi Agunsoye said the current minimum wage was inadequate for the survival of the average Nigerian worker. Two groups of lawyers have stormed the National Assembly to make counterclaims on the rightful occupants of the Akwa Ibom North Senatorial District seat in the upper chamber of the National Assembly. Some lawyers under the AGs have the coalition of concerned lawyers on the Akwa Ibom State Northeast Senatorial District said the current occupant of the seat, Senator Bassey Akpan, had appealed the sacking by the court and should remain in office. Those under the umbrellas of the Alliance of Human Rights Lawyers and Civil Society for Sustainable Rule of Law in Nigeria, however, asked the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, to swear in the contender for the senatorial seat, Bassey Etim, as ordered by the court. The Federal High Court sitting in Uyo on February 27, 2017, sacked Akpan and ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to issue a certificate of return to Etim as a candidate produced by the People's Democratic Party's senatorial primary in Akwa Ibom Northeast. INEC had issued a fresh certificate of return to Etim on March 6, 2017, but he had yet to be inaugurated as a member of the Senate. We'll go on a break now, and we'll come back. News on the How will continue. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State has announced the dissolution of the state cabinet, comprising commissioners, special advisors, senior special assistants, and special assistants. Observers reckon that the dissolution of the cabinet was preparatory to the setting up of a team that would canvass support for the governor's successor in 2019. Okorocha announced the dissolution in a statement issued in Owerri, the state capital, by its principal secretary, Mr. Pascal Obi. The dissolution also affected the transition committee chairman in the 27 local government areas of the state, but it excluded its chief of staff, Uche Nwosu, and the secretary to the state government, George Uche. Some beneficiaries of the federal government's NPAR under the National Social Investment Program, NNIP, has started counting the gains of the government after 5 months of empowerment. NPAR is one of the components of NSIP aimed at empowering Nigerians, both graduate and non-graduate, between the ages of 18 and 35 by paying them 30,000 naira monthly over a period of 2 years. Some of the beneficiaries who spoke today in Abuja said that the program had established them and taken them out of poverty. Wangel Alfred, a beneficiary of NPAR graduate scheme in Plateau, said he was employed under the scheme and posted to a nomadic primary school in the state as a teacher. The beneficiaries, however, appealed to the government to ensure the stability of the program by giving them full employment after the 2 years duration of the program. The chairman, Benue State Independent Electoral Commission, Dr. John Suwa, has stated that the commission recognized the Modu Sheri faction of the People's Democratic Party for the local government poll scheduled for Saturday. The BSIEC boss, who briefed newsmen on the preparation for Saturday local government poll, exclaimed that candidates from Sheriff PDP were screened and certified to participate in the forthcoming council poll. The commission recognizes only Sheriff PDP because of the standing court verdict. In line with the guidelines, the National Secretariat of every political party must ratify candidates under their party participating in the council polls. Suwa said that only 8 political parties would participate in the election. He added that 11,400 ad hoc members of staff would be deployed for the poll, adding that both accreditation and voting would go on simultaneously and would close by 3 p.m. The presidency has said that the cost of the houses the federal government was planning for Nigerians under its family home fund could be as low as 2.5 million naira. The senior special assistant to the acting president on media and publicity, Mr. Laolu Akande, disclosed this in a statement in Abuja. Akande was given further insight into the scheme which the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, referred to in his nationwide broadcast to mark the 2nd anniversary of the Muhammadu Buhari administration, and at another forum on Monday. He said the 100 billion naira family home fund, which is an initiative of the federal government's social housing project, would provide inexpensive mortgages to Nigerians who could afford 30,000 naira per month. Akande said the project had already started in 11 states. He quoted Professor Osinbajo as saying that the 100 billion naira was a yearly contribution to the 1 trillion naira social housing fund, which he described as the largest in the history of the country. The federal government has charged property developers to reduce their rent and the value of properties in consideration of the economic hardship across the country. According to the government, the values of properties and rents in other nations of the world have fallen as a result of the global economic slowdown being experienced. Speaking at the inauguration of board members of the Estate Surveyors and Valuers Registration Board of Nigeria in Abuja, the Minister of Power Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, said many houses in Nigeria were empty while a lot of people lacked accommodation. Fashola made it clear that as a board must work out ways of tackling the problem of high house rents and advance payments, particularly in major cities across the country. The Imo State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has paraded 2 persons for allegedly conveying 30,000 adulterated petroleum product. NSCDC commander in the state, Stephen Lar, said that Peter Mbaeze of Enugu State and Emmanuel Nwaike of Anambra State were arrested on May 22, 2017, along Okigwe Enugu Expressway by men following a tip-off. Lar said that while the 2 suspects were arrested, 2 others escaped. He said 30,000 liters of vandalized petroleum product with animal feed were intercepted by the operatives of the command. He explained that the essence of the animal feed was to deceive security agents, adding that the suspect could not beat the NSCDC officials with their tricks. He added that the suspects would be charged to court for economic sabotage at the end of investigations by his command. The governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Abia State in the 2015 general elections, Dr. Inyerere Hayim, has described President Muhammadu Buhari's 2 years as rewarding, eventful, and far better than the 16 years wasted by the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Hayim called Buhari's administration high on security, economy, anti-graft war, and infrastructure. Hayim, also an executive commissioner nominee in Pension Commission, further stated that the remaining 2 years of the administration would witness massive infrastructural revolution, job creation, and sustained fight against corruption. He insisted that by the year 2019, Nigerians will appreciate the sincerity in which he said the APC is currently bringing into governance after PDP's 16 years of office. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonishaki, has blamed the inability of the military to provide statutory entitlement to soldiers who either die or are wounded in action on the nation's current constitution, saying the country's existing law never made provision for same. This is even as expressed grave concern over appearance of military lawmakers in civil court, when, according to him, military lawyers are being restricted to appear only before courts-martial. He also frowned on the Constitution for allowing non-military lawyers take over cases emanating from court-martial at the appeal stages when they were not participants at the lower level. To this end, he has asked that the country's Armed Forces Act, AFA, be amended to capture such provisions. The military chief equally bemoaned most appellate court decisions against military cases, declaring that reversing rulings of court-martial on technical grounds by the higher courts were adversely affecting enforcement of discipline in the military, which he noted was a cardinal requirement of any military service. The chairman, Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Itsei Sage, SAN, has asked the federal government to obey court orders regarding the detention of embattled former National Security Advisor, retired Colonel Sambo Dazuki, and the leader of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zazaki. Sage said this during an interview with newsmen while reacting to calls by the Nigerian Bar Association for the release of Dazuki and El-Zazaki. The senior advocates advised the federal government to either obey the court order by immediately releasing them or to appeal the orders. The PACSC chairman also agreed with the NBA regarding the prolonged probe of judges without trial. Sage, however, called on the government to wrap up the probe by prosecuting the judges immediately or by dropping the case. Globally, approximately 52% of the female population, which is 26% of the total population, is of reproductive age. Most of these women and girls will menstruate each month for between 2 and 7 days. Effective menstrual hygiene is vital to health, well-being, dignity, empowerment, mobility, and productivity of women and girls. Menstruation is a natural process, but in most parts of the world, it is a taboo and rarely talked about, which is a situation that can lead to misinformation and the promotion of dangerous menstrual hygiene practices. Temitakwe Oladipo brings you the report.
Menstrual hygiene awareness is aimed to break taboos and raise awareness about importance of good menstrual hygiene management, MHM, for women and adolescent girls worldwide. It was initiated by German-based NGO Wash United in 2014. The initiative for menstrual hygiene was received for support over 217 global partners who are committed to making good menstrual health and hygiene a priority worldwide. The day complements other important days of the year in relationship to sanitation and hygiene, such as October 15 for Global Hand Washing Day and November 19 for World Toilet Day. Dr. Mrs. Foluke Olaniyi George, a child and adolescent specialist, explained further.
I think that is even the main thrust of the Menstrual Hygiene Day, is that every woman, every young lady, every girl should have the ability, should have the opportunity to handle her menstruation in a safe, a hygienic way, with privacy, and at the same time preserving her dignity. Is the materials that are to be used. Commonly used materials include sanitary towels like pads. I'm talking of synthetic.
Okay.
Yes. Then some people use tampons.
On why women do experience irregularities in menstrual cycle, she said it all depends on body system. In as much our body build-up differs, hence the reason for these irregularities.
That menstruation usually occurs every 28 days in most young ladies and women, and it actually usually comes for a duration of about 5 days. Now that is what we call, that is the common presentation. Of course, normal is a range. Normal is not a fixed point. So we have, just the same way I'm different from you, the same way we have different tribes and cultures and languages. Our bodies are also different, and in the absence of a pathology, I'm talking of in a normal situation now, without any illness or any medical condition, it is possible that variations will exist. Some people will menstruate, the normal is between 21 to 35 days. Anything outside that, if your cycle length is shorter than 21 days, you need to seek the counsel of your doctor, or if it's longer than 35 days as well. So 28 days is actually the middle, where we find that most people, are around that region. Of course, like I said, there are some conditions which can shorten the cycle length and some that can increase the cycle length. But for a normal, a healthy individual with no physical challenge, usually it's about 28 days, or a range of 21 to 35 days.
Inadequate menstrual hygiene management is connected with several problems that females face, in particular in developing countries. Dr. Foluke Olaniyi George explained the hygienic method of disposing sanitary materials.
Essentially on what method is being used. The recyclable materials, the reusable materials are easier because you don't have to throw them away. You just wash, you throw away the water, you understand, and dry and keep. For the sanitary towels and the tampons, one thing to make sure that we emphasize to young ladies is that they shouldn't be flushed. They shouldn't be flushed, yes. Most of them eventually, over time, a long period of time, really are biodegradable. You understand? So they should be wrapped. I was taught, and I think it's a good practice, to wrap it in paper, an old newspaper or any paper that is no more in use, wrap it and then drop it in the trash. There doesn't have to be any special series that make...
Menstrual Hygiene Day makes audible and visible a growing transnational movement that promotes body literacy and autonomy, as well as gender equality. And the theme for this year is education about menstruation changes everything. All women, in spite of their upbringing and economic background, do have a menstrual story to narrate. an embarrassing incident that makes them cringe even when they think about it. And that story is their gateway to make a difference in other women's lives. Temitope Oladipo reporting for New Frontiers Television.
Up next is a foreign news. In the United Kingdom, British Prime Minister Theresa May's ability to deliver a landslide majority in the June 8 election was in doubt on Tuesday after two more opinion polls showed the votes could be much tighter than previously thought. A total of 7 polls carried out since the May 22 Manchester attack have shown May's lead over the opposition Labour Party narrowing, with some suggesting she might not win the landslide predicted just a month ago. May's polls lead started to contract sharply after she set out plans on May 18 to make some elderly people pay a greater share if their care costs, a proposal dubbed the dementia tax by opponents. The polls so far have been hard to decipher, with both the unpopular social care pledge and the May 22 suicide attack in Manchester influencing voter intentions. And on to South Korea. South Korea's parliament approved President Moon Jae-in's selection of Lee Nak-yeon as Prime Minister today, backing the former lawmaker and governor of South Jeolla province to become the first confirmed cabinet member under the new leader. Moon nominated Lee after winning elections earlier this month to replace former President Won-hai, who was impeached after a corruption scandal. The appointment of 65-year-old Lee was approved with 164 votes from the 299-member National Assembly, of whom 188 members voted. 20 Assembly members voted against Lee's nomination, 2 abstained, and 2 votes were disqualified. A simple majority of votes is required to approve a Prime Minister designate. And in Afghan, at least 80 people were killed and 350 wounded in Kabul today, when a powerful vehicle-borne bomb exploded in the middle of the Afghan capital. German Foreign Minister Sigmar Gabriel says employees at the German embassy in Kabul were injured in a powerful bomb explosion in the Afghan capital, adding that 1 Afghan security guard was killed. The minister stated that the attack took place very close to the German embassy. It urged civilians and those who are in Afghanistan to work for a better future for the country with the people there. The attack is one of the most serious seen in the Afghan capital for several months. Olajumoke Babalola reporting. And now we take our sport package.
Angel Herrera ended Venezuela into a historic FIFA Under-20 World Cup Korea Republic 2017 quarter-final with a 1-0 extra time win over Japan, booking them into the last 8 for the first time. It was an open affair right from the off, with the first draft of chances going the way of the tournament top scorer, and in the team that plays in the last 8 and the history book. A display of efficiency helped Portugal beat Korea Republic 3-1 in front of a capacity crowd in Cheonan in the round of 16 at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup Korea Republic 2017. Portugal will play the winner of Uruguay versus Saudi Arabia, who face off tomorrow in Suwon on Sunday, 4th of June, while Korea Republic's campaign on home soil comes to an end. Arsenal boss Arsene Wenger has agreed a new 2-year contract extending his 21-year reign at the club. Wenger and club owner Stan Kroenke met on Monday to determine the Frenchman's future, and a decision related to directors at a Tuesday board meeting. Arsenal are planning to make an official announcement on Wednesday. They finished 18 points behind champions Chelsea, but beat the Blues 2-1 to win the FA Cup at Wembley on Saturday. Wenger's contract was set to finish at the end of the current campaign. Some Ghana fans turned on the 67-year-old Frenchman as a result of their league performances, and they lost 10-2 on aggregate to Bayern Munich in the Champions League last season in March. They finished the league season with 5 successive victories, but it was not enough to carry them above Liverpool to take the fourth and final Champions League spot. Wenger said the criticism he had faced this season is a disgrace he will never forget. Anti-Wenger banners were held aloft by Ghana's fans in the closing stages of a 3-1 defeat at West Brom on the 18th of March, while in the first half, 2 planes stowed banners over the ground on criticizing the manager and others supporting him. After the loss, Wenger said he had made a decision on his future, which he would announce very soon. Chelsea manager Antonio Conte may well describe Wenger as one of the best managers in history. Adebola Adeleke, reporting for New Frontiers television station.
Our sport package concludes the news on the heart today. Join us for the rest of our programs later in the day. My name is Olajumoke Babalola. Thank you for watching.
Nigerian Baptist Convention is inviting you to another edition of Baptist Nights of Wonders with the theme Showers of Blessing, Ezekiel 34:25-26. Date is Friday, July 14, 2017 at Hebron Baptist Center, Idishin, Ibadan. And time is 9 p.m. Ministering under the auction of the Holy Spirit is the President, Nigerian Baptist Convention, who is also the President, Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Samson Olashipo Ayokunle. And the guest ministers are Pastor Philip Adika and Omotola Sachs. Free buses will be available at Mokola Roundabout, Songo Junction, Gate, Challenge Molete Baptist Church and BCJ Apata. Come and experience God's touch as it will be pouring out His blessings upon His people, and your life shall never remain the same. Jesus is Lord.
UBR hold the world record. They set it way back in 1985. 41-34. Like a rocket for Jamaica with Madison outside of Madison. Also going very
Bàbá ń gbọ́ bí mo ṣe ń képe. Bàbá ò sùn ó ń fetí sọ̀rọ̀ mi. Bàbá ń rí o gbogbo ẹ̀dùn ọkàn mi. Ìgbòkègbodò mi lọ́sàn-án lóru. Láì jẹ láì mu láì sùn lọ́pọ̀ ìgbà ni mo wà ó. Gbogbo ìlérí tó ti ṣe fún mi ó ti ta kókó. Ó ní wàá pa mí mọ́, ó ló tọ́jú mi o. Ó ti ṣèlérí fún mi o, wàá mú lè ríṣẹ́. Wàá tọ́jú mi o, á tọ́jú mi o. Ó ti ṣèlérí o, ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ kì í yẹ̀ o. Bàbá ti sọ̀rọ̀. Sórí òkè níbo nìrànlọ́wọ́ mi ó àti wá. Ìrànlọ́wọ́ mi tọwọ́ Olúwa wá tó dá òun wáyé. Ẹni tí pa mí mọ́ kì í sùn, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kì í tòògbé o. Olúwa lójijì mi lọ́wọ́ ọ̀tún. Yóò pa mí nígbà ọ̀sán. Wàá tọ́jú mi o, á tọ́jú mi o. Ó ti ṣèlérí o, ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ kì í yẹ̀